Hi, Tom Esch here, coming to you from St. Paul, Minnesota. George Bernard Shaw once said, "The greatest problem in communication is the illusion that it has been accomplished." That Father Vito story about the not so young couple with the baby who wasn't sleeping, uh, that story was true because I was the one looking for the thingamajig on the whatchamacallit. All right. So, what happened there? And what is this communication loop? All right. In communication, we have the sender, which was my wife, the receiver, which was me, and the message. All right. Get the thingamajig from the whatchamacallit. Absolute true story. The loop would be that part which comes back to the receiver, to the sender from the receiver. So it actually can go either way. But it has to loop back so that the people know that they're talking about the same thing. And the loop is almost like a lasso or a boomerang that comes back. I could have said, "What do you mean the thingamajig?" Or whatchamacallit are you talking about? And she could have said, "Am I clear?" I would have said, "Hell no, you're not clear. Try again." She could have said, "Can you tell me what you heard me say?" And I would have said, "Absolute gobbledygook." And in your world, in construction, when somebody says, "Can you tell me what you heard me say?" they might get a colorful reply. Like, "Yeah, sure. I'll tell you what I heard. I heard you say you think I'm stupid," right? Or, "I heard you are talking like some kind of smart ass shrink." I know you may not think or talk like that, but some certainly would. Can you tell me what you heard? It's a great question. It could save you a lot of headache and a possible injury. It's a simple line that could really be helpful. All right. This is no time for the receiver to get defensive. It helps if the sender is polite about it, realizing it has nothing to do with intelligence. All right. Good, clear communication is challenging even in the best of times. During the stress and rush of construction, things get muddy all the time. Every day on hundreds of job sites, supervisors and foremen are giving detailed directions to be followed. And every day, sometimes because it's loud, or because maybe they don't know what a certain word means, or maybe there's just too much detail, or there's friction between two workers, or the loop is not a common practice, the details get lost. All right. How often do you, as the sender of communication, ask the other person, "What did you hear?" How often do you, as the receiver, say, "Let me repeat that back again to make sure I got all the details"? We don't talk like that in construction as a general rule. Somebody says to another guy, maybe, "Hey, uh, Jimmy, get the traffic cones, put a bunch out on Highway 35E. By the end of the day, then get the demo saw to Lefty and ask him to cut the 8-inch pipe into 6 feet segments. Make sure to remind Joe to clean that sewer line with the proper nozzle." What does the person say? "Okay, boss, got it. No problem. I'll get her done." He gets in his truck and he thinks, "What the hell's going on? What am I going to do?" He has no idea about any of those details. How many cones? Was that an 8-inch or a 6-inch pipe? I can't quite remember. And what kind of type of pipe are we talking about? PVC, ductile iron, concrete, metal? Which demo saw did he mean? And when is the end of the day, according to him? And was that cut in 6-foot or 8-foot segments? And then Joe is supposed to clean the sewer line with the proper nozzle. What's the proper nozzle? Do you get it? Is this what sometimes happens? They say the devil's in the details, right? I would say not quite. More accurately, the devil is in the lack of details. Meaning when you lack details, things can get very bad very fast. So the first thing I would suggest admitting is that often the details aren't communicated very well. The second thing is to agree that you want to change that and make it okay to ask somebody, can you tell me what you heard? Without a colorful rebuttal. Okay, that's not helpful. So the third thing is to close that feedback loop, to ask that question. What did you hear me say? Can you tell me what you heard? And then for the person to answer, knowing there may be some important details to be clarified in that process, as there always are. Mark Twain once said, the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and lightning bug. To make matters worse, 500 of the most commonly used words have over 14,000 meanings, right? Somebody calls a nozzle by a certain name and somebody misinterprets that name. This has happened. It's been the source of an injury for one of my clients. So the very basic question becomes, is what you said really what they heard? Effective communication travels in a loop from sender to receiver and back again to the sender, back again once to the receiver, like a boomerang. Commit to doing this and you will have less stress, I assure you. Make it a daily habit to do this and you will have safer and more productive job sites. So now it's practice time. I know this is your favorite part. I want you to take a minute to practice this skill. If you have two people, person A will be giving some detailed directions, preferably something that you have to do today. An actual situation would be best. Person B is going to listen. And then person A, the sender, is going to ask, what did you hear? Person B is going to say what they heard. And then they clarify the details if there's any confusion, assuming there's often confusion. Just assume it, that it isn't communicated accurately the first time around. Thank you again for your time. What you do today could prevent an injury or a death today or tomorrow. Again, take a minute to practice this skill of closing that feedback loop. I know maybe you don't want to. Athletes don't want to do their sprints, but if they're going to stay in shape, they know they have to. So to become a conversational athlete, you have to work out every day. Until next time, I'm Tom Esch, safety communication expert at your service. Take care.